All right, so when calculating the probability of certain z-scores, we can use Desmos and go to normal distribution. And then I'm actually not going to type anything into this piece. You can leave it blank. And the reason being is that when we're testing the probabilities of certain z-scores, we don't want a mean or standard deviation in there because we're going to let this x value be the actual z-score. For normal distributions, if you do have a mean and standard deviation, we would obviously change these values to be the intervals that you found in the previous lesson. But for this case, you can see your standard normal curve. And so we're going to calculate different areas underneath using Desmos. So in this previous example, we said less than 1.2. So I'm going to hit left, and then it'll shift the graph over to the left of, and then you can type in 1.2 as that z-score. And that's going to give you 0.885 or 885.5% as the probability of a data value falling within this range. If I wanted to find between certain z-scores, so let's say I wanted to find between one standard deviation below and one standard deviation above, notice that it's 68.3%, so that's that 68% rule from our empirical rule. If I wanted to find outside of that range, so I could just click outer, and then that would give me below one standard deviation below the mean and above the one standard deviation above the mean. And then the last thing we haven't really discussed is to the right of. So typically, when we do our calculations from a table, it always gives us to the left, and you would have to take 1 minus that probability to get to the right of that, but Desmos gives us this option to calculate to the right. So if I wanted to find to the right of 1.2 standard deviations as my z-score, then that would give me 0.115 or 11.5% as our probability. Okay.